that's the first thing is to understand where that contact is. Second thing is to follow these shear zones, which are the kind of accommodation space that allows the mineralization to come in, and follow those through. Do they continue to the northwest in our block, or do they wrap around the granite? We just don't know that at the moment. And that will give us some idea of new exploration targets.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Paul Barrett, the CEO of Rome Resources. Paul, very good morning to you. You're participating in an airborne geophysical survey over the greater Bisie tin district in the DRC. Now, Bisie is one of the highest grade tin districts in the world. Where does Rome Resources fit into that picture, and what makes Bisie North so significant?
Yes, hi Stephen. It's an interesting survey because it'll be electromagnetic survey with some magnetics as well. So what we're trying to do, we have about 25% of the total survey area is on our block. The rest of it wraps around the granite to the southwest and also to the southeast. So we're right in the core area of the survey, and the idea was really threefold, I guess. Is that a lot of the mineralization increases in intensity as you get towards the granite, and neither Alpha to the south nor ourselves can really see the granite contact because of the fact it's so heavily forested, and it probably runs along river courses, so it's quite difficult. And the magnetics should be able to pick that up quite nicely with the tin granite. So that's the first thing, is to understand where that contact is. Second thing is to follow these shear zones, which are the kind of accommodation space that allows the mineralization to come in, and follow those through. Do they continue to the northwest in our block, or do they wrap around the granite? We just don't know that at the moment. And that will give us some idea of new exploration targets mainly within the Kalayi license, to be honest. And what we also have to bear in mind is that towards the end of the year, we'll need to make a decision on, depending which route we go with the licenses, whether we have to do a 50% relinquishment. So we need to know which of the relinquished areas to choose based on the fact that they're not prospective. So that's another reason for doing this survey right now, which is really good timing, really.
The survey will calibrate your anomalies against nearby producing mines. What will that comparison tell you about the potential of what you have on your ground?
Well, it won't tell you directly what you have in terms of whether you have tin mineralization or whatever. It actually, because tin cassiterite is an oxide, it's not electrically conductive. It's quite difficult to directly measure from airborne surveys. But what we're indirectly measuring is where the shear zones go, etc. So it's to understand the structural geology more than anything else, and the mineralization will hopefully follow that. And what we'd probably do is, if we have some high-grade areas from the geophysics, is to go in and do some soil geochemistry ahead of drilling. So that will be the kind of batting order of that.
Paul, you have Kalayi assays, an updated resource estimate, and now this survey all coming together. Which is the most important near-term catalyst for investors to focus on?
Well, the assays you mentioned, I mean, we are actually supposed to get some assays today from Kalayi. So yes, this is an ongoing process, and this all feeds into updating the mineral resource. You know, we had these pretty chunky intercepts in the drilling, and they need to be confirmed by the assays and then updated in the resource estimate. So that's the key driver at the moment, the Kalayi tin resource, looking at how much we have after this current drilling campaign, and then looking at how we go forward in terms of monetizing, or not necessarily monetizing, but in terms of quantifying the upside at Montagoma in terms of the copper and the tin. So there's work to do there as well. There's quite a lot to do over the summer. We are planning, depending on exactly what we find, both in the assays and in the geophysics survey, to go back to drilling, hopefully towards the latter part of the summer. So that again will be quite interesting for investors going forward. But I think that in terms of priorities, just to come back to what you said, it's the Kalayi tin is the priority at the moment, to really put a number on that for investors going forward, and for our next plan in terms of the commercialization of the projects.
Well, I'm sure we're going to be chatting again very soon. It looks like you have a busy year ahead.
Okay, well, thanks, Steve.
Paul Barrett, the CEO of Rome Resources.